Hello everyone. Nisarg and I are fourth year undergraduate students in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at the Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur. Today we will be presenting our paper which investigates user preferences towards cookie consent notice banners and tries to understand what are the design factors influencing their choices. Since the advent of laws like GDPR, cookie consent notices can be observed on almost every website. Naturally, not all consent notice UIs are preferred or liked uniformly by users. So the first step in moving towards a better consent mechanism is to identify what kind of designs users prefer and why. So when I visit bbc.com for the first time from India, this is what I see. Seems okay, right? Or is there something missing? And when I visit the same bbc.com from an EU location or the UK, then I see this banner at the center of my web page asking whether I consent to the usage of cookies and sending my data to their third-party ad partners. Post GDPR, websites that collect information about users are required to present them with such a notice before collecting data about them. This is a snapshot from Guardian.com, who even provide a detailed list of their vendors and give users an option to decide which vendor they want to send their data to and to which they don't. This has led to a rise of consent management platforms or CMPs. CMPs provide these designs to websites and allow websites to show consent notices to users, collect their cookie preferences, and set cookies on the website accordingly. As a result, a handful of templates built by a small number of CMPs such as OneTrust and Quantcast have become ubiquitous. Previous works on consent banners have shown that design decisions have a huge impact on user preferences. A variety of suspected GDPR violations have been identified, most prominently nudging and dark patterns. Also, consent-related behavior of users is affected based on consent notices position, choices, and content. However, as of yet, there is no clear indication or answer to a very basic question. What designs or parts of designs do users actually like or dislike, and what are the factors motivating their choices? We believe our work will help companies and ethical developers in adopting better design primitives for consent banners on their websites. To this end, we do a within subjects comparative study of the different cookie consent notice UI designs available today in the wild and uncover user preferences regarding these consent designs. As our first research question, we try to identify that from a set of consent notice designs, which designs are the most preferred and which are the least. Then we identify major design primitives which lead to some cookie consent notice designs being liked or disliked significantly more than the others. In order to answer our research questions, we need a handful of consent banner designs, and hence we build a taxonomy by focusing on the Alexa UK top 500 websites. Collectively, these different banners can be divided into 5 different cookie consent UI templates. We have the binary choice template that provides almost zero control to the user, and it appears with a pre-selected I understand continue button. On the other end of the spectrum, we have the full vendor list, which provides full control. It allows users to authorize or deny each cookie and related tracking entities separately. Lying somewhere in between, providing intermediate control is a slider option, which gives us an incremental choice. For example, if the slider is at the functional level, then both required and functional cookies would be allowed. However, there is no way to allow only the functional cookies in this design. Solving that problem, we have the cookie categories design by which allows users to select or deselect each category of cookies separately. We deployed this survey form as a part of a browser extension. The survey form asked users to rank the 5 designs according to their preference and also optionally provide a justification for the preference order. The form also had some questions to gauge the privacy stance of users and the privacy-oriented actions. After deploying a survey, we received a total of 98 responses. Out of these, 77 users provided a preference order for the 5 designs, and 30 of them gave a description of why they chose a specific order. We also uncovered few interesting observations from our responses. In the binary choice design, due to the I understand continue button being pre-selected, a majority of users either leave it as it is or explicitly agree by selecting it. For cookie categories, almost 30% of our users leave all the categories on. This was the default setting, and this proved to be the second most popular choice. This in fact shows the power of defaults and again how easy it is to become susceptible to dark patterns. Now, more than half of our participants failed to select an option for all the cookies or vendors, despite the facility of a simple accept all or reject all button in the full vendor list design. So our participants have shown a variety of preferences towards different designs. Any one design was not suitable for all, and thus we use our research questions to guide our investigation further.
Let us look into the first research question, which is identifying the user preferences for the 5 consent notices selected for the study. We asked the users to assign each of the consent notices a rank from 1 to 5, with 1 being the best and 5 being the worst. Using these rankings, we calculated the median rank of each design. To further verify the ordering, we used the Mann-Whitney U-test to assess whether there is a statistically significant difference in the ranks assigned to each pair of designs. The slider option had the highest median rank, followed by cookie categories. Binary choice and full vendor list with reject all are tied at third place, with them being the only pair which had little statistically significant difference in their rankings. The full vendor list without reject all had the worst median rank among all the designs. Now that we have the answer to which designs are preferred by users, we try to identify the reasons which led to the users selecting a particular design as their preferred one. While the 5 consent notices shown to the users are very specific, the factors for liking a particular design over the others are general, and if identified, can serve as some of the key points to be kept in mind while designing such notices in the future. We use the qualitative responses of the users to understand the factors affecting their choices. To give structure to the qualitative responses received from the users, we analyzed them and created a codebook of the broad factors for liking and disliking a design. Using this codebook, the authors independently assigned codes to each of the qualitative responses. The inter-rater agreement was calculated using Krippendorff's alpha, which came out to be 0.84, signifying a good agreement. In order to identify the critical factors which shape the user's choices, we created this heat map, which helps us identify the relative importance of factors for a particular design, receiving the first preference by a user. On the y-axis, we have the designs, and on the x-axis, the reasons for liking a design. A darker cell in the heat map indicates a high fraction of participants gave the reason in that column a higher rank to the UI in that row as their first preference. Now let's look into some interesting observations. For the slider option, the darkest cells are that of ease of use and less decision-making time. There are several other noteworthy observations which can be made using the given heat map, which have been thoroughly discussed in the paper. Next, we also identified the reasons for users disliking certain designs. A darker cell in this heat map indicates a high fraction of participants gave that reason in the column to not rank the UI in that row as their first preference. Full vendor lists were mostly not preferred because of the excessive information which they possess. On the other hand, people did not prefer the binary choice option because they did not find it to be transparent and customizable. Finally, in order to get a more general idea of which factors play the most important role, we flatten out the heat maps and identify the most frequently stated reasons for liking and disliking various designs. We come to the following conclusion. The design should be made concise, otherwise the user gets overwhelmed with the amount of information. The interface should be easy to use. We also observe that customizability does not play a very crucial role because nor its presence nor its absence had a major impact on the user's choices. Thus, using the 5 most prominent consent designs out there, we understood what design factors play a crucial role in shaping users' opinions about consent notices. We feel our study provides concrete design recommendations to make the cookie banner designs more usable for end users, and I encourage you to read the paper for more insights on the same. Thank you.